Ali, Ankleka, Alice Lolohea, welcome to the season finale of The Pacific.
Ankleka, Johnson Aira, we've got a big show today, so let's see what's in store.
We take a look at a side of Port Moresby we don't often see.
We hear from Palau's president as he firms up a second term in office.
And the young artist slaying the ballroom scene in Melbourne.
This is what it's like to be Samoan, do you know what I mean?
First though, people across the Pacific are reacting to Donald Trump's historic ascension to the White House in the US elections.
Pacific leaders have been congratulating President-elect Trump after he beat Democratic opponent Kamala Harris by a wider margin than expected.
On X, Fiji's Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka said, "I look forward to strengthening bilateral relations between our nations and also wish President Trump a great tenure in office."
And in PNG, Prime Minister James Marape extended his heartfelt congratulations and said he looks forward to reinforcing the long-standing partnership between our nations, grounded in shared values and mutual respect.
The US Pacific territories of Guam, American Samoa and the Northern Marianas don't vote directly for the presidency, but do each elect a non-voting delegate in the US House of Representatives, as well as local legislatures and government positions. In a sign consistent with what happened on election night, each territory saw a swing toward Republican candidates.
Last show, we spoke about what a Trump presidency might mean for the region. In his first term, he withdrew the US from the Paris Climate Change Agreement and may look to curb climate measures once again.
We would expect a pushback on climate change, not only in the region, globally, in the US, of course, as well. We've seen that. So it's going to be quite a big risk.
It's also unclear how President Trump might manage US military assets based in the Pacific and America's relationship with China.
The US and China have been the big contending adversaries in the Pacific. So the Pacific will inevitably arise as a sphere of contestation.
While the fallout from Donald Trump's victory continues, there was another election held on November 5th that you might not have heard about.
Palau held its presidential election with incumbent Surangel Whipps Jr predicted to defeat his brother-in-law, Tomiasang Remangasau. Palau, it's a nation of just under 20,000 people, the closest to Asia of the Pacific Islands, with close cultural ties to Taiwan and Southeast Asia, as well as its Pacific family. It appears incumbent Surangel Whipps Jr has emerged with an insurmountable lead over his brother-in-law Tomiasang Remangasau, despite polls showing the race would be close.
It's surprising that it's not the case, because these are two very popular political figures on the island. One, an incumbent president, and the other, a former four-term president.
Whipps Jr ran on a platform of enthusiastic support for the US and Taiwan, with Palau one of the last Pacific countries to retain diplomatic ties with Taiwan rather than China. It's also one of 3 Micronesian nations in a compact of free association with the US, giving the superpower exclusive military access to Palauan land, in exchange for just under $1 billion and Palauans' ability to live and work in the US. And while the public seems to approve of the president's embrace of the West,
many Palauans, they have their families in the United States, and especially there are many young Palauans who are active in the US military, and they have families here.
It seems the biggest issue for Palauans was a domestic one, after controversy over a 10% goods and services tax President Whipps Jr introduced amidst high inflation at the start of last year. This year, the president offset that criticism with tax rebates, as well as pay increases for government workers.
If you are making $15,000 USD per year and below, you are eligible for 100% of income tax refund. Those $15,000 earners and below make up around 70% of the working population.
But of course, that isn't the only issue the next government will face. We're joined by President Surangel Whipps Jr, who looks likely to be re-elected. Ali, and welcome to the Pacific.
Ali, and a very good morning.
Another term in office is looking likely for you. How would you sum up this election campaign?
It's been one of, I think, an election where really we've been debating ideas and solutions to how we see the country moving forward. So first of all, I want to, we're blessed to have a democratic nation where we can express our opinions and debate the issues, and we are really just humbled by the overwhelming support. Our vision of rebuilding our economy based on sound economic policies, and also the programs that we put into place to really help lift people up. I think people are beginning to understand, and really this was a vote about looking long-term, not just on short-term.
The 10% tax on goods was a key domestic issue for voters, but it didn't really seem to sway the electorate away from you. Why do you think that was?
Well, I think some of the things that we need to understand is we had a tax before. It was embedded in everything that we had. So when we launched this new tax reform, it replaced an existing system. I think some people had focused on just the 10%, but they didn't focus on how we lowered taxes for those low-income people earning less than $15,000. What other social programs that were put into place to ensure those safety nets to bring people up. And then the other thing we did is over the last 2 years, we've raised the minimum wage from $3.50 an hour to $5 an hour, which if you're talking about the lowest income earners that were earning minimum wage, really what we put back in their pocket was almost a 40% increase in income. And now what we're focused on is how do we continue to build a diversified economy that can continue to help our people moving forward.
It seems like young people sided with you this election. Was it intentional to target that youth vote?
The youth are so critical because they're leaving Palau. I mean, this is something in 2016 when I ran, I talked about is they're leaving Palau. Why are they leaving Palau? Looking for opportunities, unfortunately, in the United States. We need to figure out how we create those opportunities at home so that they don't want to leave. And we're hoping that that's what they see. They see that there's hope. So we had to make tough choices. And I'll just give you an example. This PGST, or the reform in our tax system, was a tough choice because we could have stayed with the status quo because maybe the electorate would like that. However, it's one of those decisions that we had to make because really for the long-term benefit of Palau, you need a good tax infrastructure that really captures the growth that the economy will see in the years to come.
Looking to the United States, Donald Trump has won. What does the result mean for Palau and the Pacific?
Well, I think for the United States and for Palau, we have a shared common interest, and that is, I think we all want peace and prosperity in the Pacific. And what we've seen in the United States, I think in the past, and this is just my experience when I went to the U.S. in 2013 with former President Raela, and I was chairman of the Finance Committee. I think the Republicans were more focused on security and defense, and they understood the importance of Palau and how it fit in with that. What we've seen under the Biden administration is also the Democrats coming on board and seeing the importance of that. So we've seen that shift. And I think now more than ever, it's really bipartisan support from both parties, understanding the importance of building a strong relationship and how we can work together to ensure that we have a free and open Indo-Pacific.
With Trump in power, it's likely there'll be a significant step back on climate action. Is this something that will be raised among Pacific Island Forum leaders, especially as climate change is an issue you've spoken about extensively?
I think that's one of the areas that we definitely, as the Pacific, need to come together and talk with the United States, especially President Trump, and share our concerns. And we hope that the strength of the relationship that Biden began with the Pacific will continue.
President Whipps Jr., thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Papua New Guinea's capital, Port Moresby, is a place of contrasts.
In this next story, we explore the city through the lens of everyday citizens, and we learn about life and happiness in a place often misunderstood.
Welcome to Port Moresby. City, city, baby.
You might have heard a thing or two about us.
This place is regularly voted the worst place in the world to live.
Unemployed and unoccupied, they fill the ranks of local gangs.
These are the frightening scenes that took place across Port Moresby.
Yes, we have our challenges, but we're a resilient city, full of vibrancy, rich in culture and spirit. So follow me. I want to show you a different side of the city I call home.
We work up our biceps, our shoulders, our back, chest. We have women from different walks of life. The moment they walk in, they leave all the titles, they leave all their worries, everything outside the gate. They're able to have that right mindset to go back out into the real world and, you know, face it with more confidence. Nice, go. Hit the deck. Nice, back up, go. My name is Cecilia Kanawi. I'm a PNG representative athlete in the code of powerlifting, and I run Break a Sweat Women's Fitness, a 100% all-female fitness gym. I used to be ashamed of going to a gym. Within our society, we women have a certain way in which people expect us to dress and carry ourselves. I saw the gap, the need for something like this so women could be comfortable in their own bodies and train, get fit.
Cecilia's workouts aren't just about getting fit and feeling great, they're also equipping these women in self-defense.
3 months back, a good friend of mine and I got held up, car theft, and she was able to physically hold the barrel of the gun and fight off the people that were holding us up at the time, and that really was owing to the strength training that we do.
Don't mess with these ladies. Across town at the Port Moresby Nature Park, the tourists look like they need some self-defense lessons against the rowdy wildlife.
Port Moresby has provided me with the opportunity to go to university and to be also to learn science and also to be an advocate for the conservation. I am lucky to be here at Port Moresby Nature Park also, to be doing what I love. My name is Ryan Reuma. I'm one of the wildlife keepers here at Port Moresby Nature Park. So this here is a saltwater crocodile. So this is where most of the residents have access to and is easy to come to. So it is a popular activity for the people. We're trying to give them a sense of a purpose for the nature, to care for the nature, especially for the wildlife. Welcome to the Tree Kangaroo Trail. Over here we have the enclosure for topaz. Topaz is a Goodfellow's tree kangaroo. This species of tree kangaroo have distinctive tail markings. So these are endangered tree kangaroo. There's some sold in the markets in the streets of Port Moresby. There's nothing that you can do because there's no law about stopping them. We can only educate the kids, so when we grow up, we have a new generation of people having a good mindset about wildlife and conservation.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
The city it has a reputation of being one of the highest crime rate and one of the dangerous cities in the world. We need to change that. It's one of the misconceptions. If you smile to someone, they will smile back. We've got only a handful of people just giving a bad name to the whole city. We've got different backgrounds of people, the culture and traditions are coming together in one city. They're coming together in a unity.
Carnegie Street is where Port Moresby's iconic colourful taxis come for a car wash. A bit further down the road, you'll find one of the city's top street food spots.
The PNG love lamp lamps. Now everybody like my lamp lamps. Everybody come here from all over the Oro, Kerala, Australia, China, India. Some members of parliaments, they used to come in. My name is Sinai Tai. I'm from Engamik Sagan. So my business is Kula fried lamp lamps. Our local lamp lamps. Now, some of cow, kumu, like sweet potatoes, now lamp lamps. Myself, I used to cook. So I don't want somebody to come and cook, so they're going to respond that taste, you know. I must think, concentrate to save my people. Everybody like themselves, so
With a full belly, it's time to go meet one of Port Moresby's best musical talents.
What's up? It's Bigger Mac, aka the Fire Pickaninny. Take a walk with me. I'll show you the real side of Port Moresby. Let's go. So we're at Garrow State 6 in Port Moresby. It's one of the roughest suburbs in the city. But as long as you're a suburb face or people know your face, then you're good. So we're good. So this used to be my family house. Went to school here, primary, high school, secondary here. So I'm a Garrow boy. So a lot of times when you're looking for like popular vehicles in Moresby, like parts, you can just come around here and ask. Everyone has parts of like most of the popular brands vehicles. So this is a beer dot. We do fundraising for school fees, medicals. It's one of the quickest ways to make money. No worries. I'm glad. Come, show him some what back. Nice one.
Just pay 2 kina for 3 arrows. If you get high score, then you afford a beer.
Bets open, bets open.
Usually we do this fundraising for a brother in need, like in Papua New Guinea. We usually don't earn enough. It's just to raise funds for the school fee and stuff.
Beer that, Garrow, brothers helping brothers, give and take. There'll be a time when it's your turn to host the fundraising, so good karma, good vibes, peace and love. Yes, no worries, Dad.
Thanks for the visit.
Having fun while fundraising for a good cause, that's my kind of party. Now it's time to hit the studio.
This is dog town. Multiple lives being taken by the one round. Lightning strikes for the thunder sound. Yeah, too many snakes, but the real stay underground.
So it's like just letting people know what goes down in Garrow, and so just to explain, you know, the do's and don'ts. I think like as an artist, you have this moral obligation to spit facts as a rapper. So I stick to the essence of hip hop, trying to be a voice for the voiceless. So I think it's a normal consensus where everyone feels the bite of reality. The economic state that we're in right now, the prices of goods have really skyrocketed. Inflation has just really increased. Basic services are not really available at disposal. People dying from curable diseases. It's our job to portray that message across through the medium of music. So it's our prerogative to try to foster change too at the same time, while addressing real issues at hand and try to provide solutions. But you know, we're still hoping this country, we can save ourselves, this country, but at the current moment we are, the current state is just all doom and gloom. So, but you know, as a proud Papua New Guinean, I still hope for the better. So hopefully we can pull ourselves up from the hole that we dug ourselves. We're losing hope, but as I said, we're still keeping hope. So hope it gets better for us.
Museums Victoria currently holds around 20,000 cultural items from the wider Pacific. The museum often connects Pacific communities with these pieces of the past and recently hosted a delegation from Samoa who got to view and engage with a number of rare items. This delegation have travelled all the way from Samoa.
Look how fine it is. Yes. We found a machine. Look. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it's called now, but I think it's more than a iekong.
It's more than iekong.
Museums Victoria currently houses 20,000 items from the Pacific, a vast array of cultural treasures dating back to the 19th and early 20th centuries. There's little information about some of the items and even less about their provenance, including these ear or Samoan mats acquired by the museum in 1888.
So from previous visits to the collections, we've been told that this one is the ear ta'ele, ear sina and ear fuipani.
There's always like this differing interpretation or opinion or different stories, right, that we have with these items.
Yeah. and people not accepting stories or not wanting to tell the stories, right? I think all of that plays towards this confusion around what these mats were for and the loss of the mats in Samoa today. I've read about the Iesina being, the virginal mat. It's the mat that Taupo, when she marries her husband, this is the mat, the wedding mat. And so you can understand what that would mean. So that's another use for this mat, as well as being worn. Somebody wearing this, you would see that and automatically know, okay, that's somebody who has an elite status in the Samoan society. Trying to pursue more information about these mats is really important, because then we can also help the database of the museums, right? We can actually contribute to the knowledge through our own identity journeys and through the journeys of the museum's collections as well.
I need to add this to my own collection for the show. Some community leaders, like Gina Tawhia, also recognise the need to create heirlooms that reflect the Pacific diaspora living in Australia.
Okay, so the piece is what we would call a tuinga whau. Traditionally, it would always be worn by the High Chief's daughter, and she was known as a taupo, virginal, and the purpose of it was to elevate the family. There's a whole heap of stuff spiritually tied to it, and I'm talking about old gods, where there was a belief that the adorning a tuinga, the person could transcend. These are pheasant feathers from different types of birds, and it's all been sourced in Australia. The shells are also all sourced in Western Australia. For me, it was important to showcase Australia in this. Jade Hadfield, the curator of the Moana One Solwara collection, is eager to strengthen the connection between these cultural items and the wider Pacific community. Holy moly. One of the bigger conversations that are happening with museums at the moment is, of course, repatriation.
We're open to it, absolutely. We take requests because it's such a lot of research. It's just time consuming, so it's about patience, but also money. It costs to get taonga home. We welcome Pacifica communities into the collection, both within Australia and also across the world. The museum are kaitiaki, or guardians, of this collection. We consider, particularly within the First Peoples team that I'm a part of, that these cultural items belong to the communities and we're simply the caretakers. It's about this connection to their culture, to their ancestors, and I think with us living in diaspora, it's a great way to connect back home.
Rapper and dancer Julai isn't shy about his queer and Samoan identity. The young performer is at the cutting edge of Australia's contemporary club and ballroom scenes. He sat down with the Pacific on the sidelines of Melbourne Fashion Week.
Do I think I'm loud, proud, and unapologetic? Yes. Honestly, being a queer rapper, the music industry isn't built for someone like me. And so that I have to be loud, and I have to be proud, and I have to be unapologetic. Hi everyone, my name is Julai. I am a queer Pacifica rapper from the southeastern suburbs of Nam, and I'm also the father of House of Diesel. Pump it. Today we are here at Melbourne Town Hall for the Underground and Melbourne Fashion Week show, and I'm here with House of Diesel. Honestly, I actually feel really grateful. I'm not gonna lie, if you asked me when I was younger if I was ever gonna do something like this, I would never have imagined this is where life would have taken me. My mum moved from Samoa when she was young to New Zealand, where I was born. I was born in Auckland. But yeah, my mum is a very strong woman. She's actually, when I think about where I get my work ethic from, I think it's from me watching her as a child. And I think I've really taken those values and applied it to my life as the person I am today.
So this dance style is called Vogue Femme, and it comes from the culture Ballroom.
Ballroom was built off the backs of Black and Latinx trans women in the 1960s in Harlem, New York.
Street fights at a ball.
It's a space for us to feel safe and liberated and learn about survival.
A house is like a gang or a clique, but basically a house is like a family unit.
I actually got into ballroom after high school. Felt great. It actually felt great to have like a sense of community and be around people that understood the type of life that I live.
Pump the gas. The leadership that Julai displays for not just us but for the wider like ballroom community in Nam, it's seriously like an inspiring, I don't know, like it's so inspiring to watch because you can really see the heart and the passion that Julai has for community building, for ballroom.
We call it chosen family. The reason why chosen family is a thing is because queer kids will be kicked out of home at a young age and have no guidance, and you know, people who played mother and father figures in the community would take these kids in and nurture them as their own. Ballroom is a beautiful thing because in ballroom you learn about survival. I don't think there's many queer Pacifica people to look up to at all, and it's kind of cool that I get to play that role now. Like being Samoan has influenced a lot of my expression, especially in music and ballroom. They're such powerful people and they like fought for their independence, and I was like, wow, like I didn't realize like this is what it's like to be Samoan. Do you know what I mean? We can say that they're Samoan, a rapper, and they've performed at Melbourne Fashion Week. I think I'm the first. And I'm definitely not going to be the last, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of cool that in these ways I'm breaking cycles and I'm creating space for us, for my people to think outside the box, you know?
Great to see some Pacific talent at Melbourne Fashion Week. You know what, Johns? You could definitely make the runway.
Oh, you know me. Give me a stage and I will perform. But that's our show done and dusted for another year. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in every week.
It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you all the stories, experiences, faces and places from the Moana Wansawara. But don't worry, we will be back in 2025.
Make sure you keep an eye out for our summer specials. But in the meantime, you can keep up to date with all things in the region through ABC Pacific. Ka kite.
Mo aloha.